It's comical. This video initially should have been just a simple guide on how I explain stuff, I explain mechanics, so you can be more prepared when you enter into the dungeon. But the more I worked on it, the more I looked at how Phobia works, and the more I realized Phobia sucks! It's a stupid mechanic and I will show you why. After all, I had a lot of fun ranting about why blindness is so bad in the game. Today, we're gonna talk about something else which I think is severely flawed, potentially frustrating to deal with, and stupid. Let me know what you think in the comments. If there are other mechanics you want me to talk about, I may already have another mechanic on my list. But once again, I am Frapollo94 and today we're gonna talk about phobias in Fear and Hunger! First of all, as always, let's try to contextualize the mechanic I'm talking about. If you played the Fear and Hunger, sometimes, when you enter into a battle, you may have noticed that there is a weird exclamation mark near a character. That exclamation mark means that you are scared of the opponent. All the characters, almost all the characters, have a phobia, which you are able to see in the party menu below their name. The rest is very simple. Different enemies trigger different phobias, which cause your character to have the exclamation mark near its name. And also, I think I should say this, in the start of the dungeon there is a guaranteed book which explains the name of all the phobias. Teratophobia is fear of monsters, phasmophobia is fear of ghosts, etc. Pretty understandable, right? Yes, but what does phobia do exactly? That's one of the first problems. If you follow me, you may know that one of the main reasons for which I think Fear and Hunger was able to become a unique experience praised by many is exactly because it does not blatantly explain everything immediately. All is left in the hands of the player. The player can decide what to experiment, which possibilities to explore, and to decide a plan. But even I, in front of phobias, feel betrayed. But let's go with some order. When you are scared, you get that state. Let's call it weakness. Weakness reduces your evasion by 50% and increases the physical damage you take by 50%. And this, I think, is thematically appropriate. You are so scared that you are not able to focus on dodging the attacks, and the opponent can also take advantage of this by attempting more powerful attacks. As you may imagine, the enemies which trigger the phobia are related to the phobia itself, with some of them even being able to trigger more than one phobia. Let's make an example. The prison guard triggers teratophobia, fear of monsters, and that looks like a monster to me, honestly. Erotophobia, fear of genitalia, and that looks to me like a big black sensor bar. And panophobia, fear of everything, and that seems something to me. Apart from the normal phobias, there are also two special cases. Gorogoroth and God of Fear and Hunger are able to cause the weakness status on you independently from your phobia. Independently if you even have a phobia at all. I love this kind of stuff. It fulfills a great thematic purpose in showing you the primal fear, a level of fear everyone shares in front of these superior entities. But hey, the video is called Phobia is Flawed and Stupid. But for the last 3 minutes I've been saying only positive things. Well, from here is where everything starts collapsing. Phobia is a mechanic broken at its core. And I don't mean the funny type of broken, where it enables funny playstyles or interesting mechanics. No. It's the other type. The one where it is both convoluted and useless, that it could simply not exist, and it would honestly be almost the same, if not better. No, actually, it would be definitely better, because it would spare me the suffering of having to understand what the hell was the developer thinking. So, remember I mentioned how phobia increases the physical damage you take? Let's make a little game. Are you able to tell me what is the problem with this statement? I will give you 5 seconds. Time's up, the answer is physical damage. Physical is the whole problem. Let me explain. RPG Maker differentiates attacks in 3 categories: physical attacks, magical attacks, and certain hits. Enemies use mainly certain hits and a little bit of physical attacks. The problem here is certain hits not only are not considered physical, but also they bypass your evasion regardless. In other words, with these attacks, weakness doesn't do anything. But okay, let's relax for a second. Maybe it's fine if a couple of attacks are made differently, right? How many attacks are there? of all the 300 possible attacks present in the game, 60 are physical. I mean, okay, it's much less than half, but still, 60 is still a good oh wait, there is more. 7 of these are only used by the player, and 6 of these are never used. So, counting correctly, there are only 47 skills in total considered physical attacks, out of the 300 attacks total present in the game. And if this number already does not seem ridiculous to you, let's jump on the next problem. Certain hits and physical attacks cannot be distinguished. You know, once again, I am one of the people who thinks the majority of the mechanics present in the game have the potential to be understood without needing a wiki. Or without needing one of my videos, honestly. But here, I think all the hours I spent into the game would not be enough to understand which attacks are physical and which are not. Attacks do not follow a rule. Attacks that seem physical can be certain hits and vice versa. But okay, let's make another test. I'm gonna show you 3 attacks and you have to tell me which one of these is a certain hit, okay? There is the tackle from the guard. There is the heavy palm from the Lord of Flies. And at last, there is the scratch from the prisoner. So, which one of these is a certain hit? Well, I fooled you, because all of these are certain hits, attacks which clearly have a physical contact between you and the opponent. Unless you sit in the dungeon for 6 months, analyzing all the damage received, making graphs or something, there is no way you would be able to understand that they do not follow weakness. But okay, relax. Is that the end of the world? For how much I already despise all of these? No. Several games operate complex mechanics behind the scenes that you are not supposed to understand. The whole point of some mechanics is to leave a veil of mystery. But no worries. This incredible inconsistency caused by certain hits is only the first problem. There are many more holes, many more problems, many more surprises about this piece of art. Now that we know about the certain hit, there is a second thing to consider. So, enemies which trigger phobias are stupid. You would expect all the enemies of the dungeon to trigger some sort of phobia, or at least panophobia, the fear of everything. But that is not the case. Yeah, you heard me right. Some enemies do not trigger phobias. It's just a giant head floating in the darkness with the most unnerving soundtrack playing in the background. Who cares? I sleep here. Is that a door? The lack of phobias on some opponents causes even more inconsistencies with this mechanic. And I know you may be thinking that maybe only opponents which do not have physical attacks do not have phobias, right? Yeah, sure. Let's look at the Iron Shakespeare, Isaiah, White Angel. All of them have physical attacks, but will never be able to trigger phobias. And there is even the opposite case. Minor Spectre triggers phasmophobia, fear of ghost, but has no physical attacks. And do I need to mention the almighty door again? It's funny because when I'm making the audio for the video, I am realizing there is just one case in which these phobias on the door could actually be used. Are you ready? If you get Brain Flower on a party member, the party member has a chance to attack your party. So if you enter in a fight with a door and you have the phobia, you can actually take more damage because I need to stop playing Fear and Hunger, I'm getting too brain rot. To summarize, the second problem is enemies are stupid at applying phobias. And this creates a very hilarious situation where rhabdophobia, fear of magic, becomes basically the best fear you could have. There is only one instance in the whole game where it is effectively applied, against the yellow lizard mage in the gauntlet. With the second best being phasmophobia, because it effectively only happens with the Old Knight, the Spectre Knight, and the Assassin Spectre. But yeah, enemies are stupid. Let's go to the next point. We discussed about what does phobia do, but how do you interact with phobia? Do you have any ways to deal with this already flawed state? Surprisingly, yes, you do have a way. But no worries, it's a very bad way. So, there is an accessory called Ever-Watching Talisman. With this one equipped, your character will not suffer from phobia in any battle. And even if it is suboptimal to use it, it's still a possibility. How do you get this accessory? The incredible way to get the Ever-Watching Talisman is to kill the poor Enki. Yep, that's it. You have to kill a valuable party member for this piece of crap. Look, I am absolutely fine with the accessory being suboptimal, but this way of getting it is terrible. But come on, surely there must be other ways, right? Yeah, but they they don't improve the situation, because... let me explain. If you use the passages of Mahabre, enter into this house, and hit correctly the coin flip, you will receive an ever-watching talisman. What? You have to either kill a party member or to gamble in order to get this, and there is no other way to get it, not even empty scrolls. I really do not think an item like this deserves to not be in the empty scroll pool. You can literally teach yourself everything, get yourself weapons like the Eastern Sword, but you cannot get ever-watching talisman, baby. But for Apollo, you don't need to kill Enki, just save scam the chest. I am not even gonna respond to that. And since we are mentioning save scamming, there is another way to counter the phobia. The counterplay is... save scamming. Yeah, I'm not joking. The phobia is randomly determined at the start of a run. There is no way to determine which phobia you will be getting, except purely RNG. So, if you really wanted to deal with this, save scamming is once again the counterplay. Oh no! My phobia is very bad! Oh, but I'm prepared. I have a crazy strategy. I am gonna keep resetting the run until I get a good phobia. Yeah, this is so smart. They will never see this one coming. Kill me. But hey, at least this creates some funny combinations, I don't know. Enki Necrophobia, or, you know, Kahara Erotophobia. Also, I think I should say this because otherwise the comments are gonna do it. If you reach 0 mind, you get Panphobia, and in Ragnavaldr intro, if you fail the coin flip, you get Panphobia as well. Also, there is one last way to get rid of the phobia, which is give away the girl to the moon lady. Are you really gonna give away the girl to the moon lady for phobia? This is the third reason for which phobia is flawed and stupid. The main counterplay is save scamming. But for Apollo, I don't care about min-maxing. Who cares about all of this? It's not a matter of being a min-maxer. The point is that if you ever wanted to do it, there is no other choice. Like, I could say I don't care about losing limbs because I'm not a min-maxer and I can finish the game without arms, maybe. But regardless, there are ways to prevent limb losses, independently if you are a min-maxer or not. Also, there is another way to get rid of the phobia, but the liberals don't want me to tell you this. Do you remember the death animations, the ones which happen with enemies like the Guard or Lord of Flies? Well, in those, you can stay alive afterwards. And in those, when you die, you lose all the states you had, including your phobia. But anyways, let's move to the last point. Enemies are even more stupid! There are some applications of the phobias which seem completely off. Don't misunderstand me, it is not always the case. Let's consider zoophobia. Dogs like the Jacked Joes or Moonless or the Crowmolar trigger zoophobia, which is the fear of animals after all. Phasmophobia is triggered by the ghosts. But then, take a look at erotophobia. The Guard of course triggers it. But then, the Greater Blight triggers it? Am I missing something? Hello? And there is also Sir Seymour? You know, I think I have a theory on why that's the case. Several battles were copy-pasted from the Battle of the Guard and then modified from that, so you can spare time with copy-pasting some parts of the code. Except that's not a theory! When you start the battle with Sir Seymour, there is a chance for a message to appear about the Guard! Yes, this is surely just the developer being a stupid idiot and forgetting to change the phobias. Even though I am sure there is gonna be someone in the comments which is gonna try to justify these phobias and is gonna be like, actually, the Greater Blight is a dinosaur, and dinosaurs made love in the past, so you are scared it may try to make love with you to reproduce. Touch grass, okay? So the fourth point is that not only the enemies are stupid, but also they are bugged. I mean, like any other thing present in the game, technically. But still is a point I cannot not consider. Now, let me clarify. What I wanted to say with all of this is that phobia seems a very cool interaction on paper. It stays with you from the start. It may potentially condition you in your decision making. But once you dig like 5 centimeters, some characters don't even have phobias to begin with. It really seems a mechanic thrown in there without too much thought put into it. Not everything has to be extremely developed or complex to be good. But not everything has to be wasted potential. Now, if this was like the blindness video, I would just end it here, but I want to do something new. I'm gonna give, in my opinion, the changes I would make to transform phobia in something more interesting. First of all, for the love of God, Make more consistency in the physical attacks. There are other ways to create unavoidable attacks if you really want to do that. You could make the attacks drop the evasion of your characters to 0, so you are sure they cannot dodge it. You can make enemies which use only certain hits and not physical attacks, and vice versa. The ways to make the enemies which actually use physical attacks more consistent are all there. You just have to follow them. This by itself would already fix the majority of the problems I have with this state. On the second place, I would slightly change what does Phobia do. The extra damage taken can remain, of course, but I would put something else, something to give it more vitality. Since you are scared of the opponent, you could make it so that when you get attacked, your mind goes down by, I don't know, 10, 9, 5, any values just to understand, oh, I am actually scared, my mind is going down. Once again, the things I'm suggesting are not supposed to make Phobia overly complex. No, just a little bit more there. Oh, and last again, for the love of God, put the ever-watching talisman at least in the empty scroll pool. No one is gonna use it, but at least it doesn't purely rely on RNG. Or at least this is what I would do. What would you do if you wanted to change Phobia? Do you think Phobia needs a change at all? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's gonna help me a lot. Oh, and also, after a couple of hours from the upload of this video, me and my theater company are gonna perform, so wish me good luck. But for today, I was Frapolo94, and I will see you next time.